I'm Scott Simi, Chief Content Editor with Indro Robotics, and on today's edition of our Soundbite micro-podcast, I'm pleased to be joined by Patrick Kenny, Senior Director, Stakeholder Experience and Strategic Engagement with Invest Ottawa. Welcome, Pat.
Thanks, Scott. I'm happy to be here.
I'm pleased you're here. Listen, I want to touch on a few things today, including Area X.O and the upcoming next-gen tech demonstration showcase known as GCXpo. Now, before we get to any of that, tell us a little bit about what Invest Ottawa is and what it does.
Invest Ottawa, we're the lead economic development agency for the nation's capital, and we work really with all different stages of programming, services, and businesses to drive investment and talent attraction and opportunity for our region.
And you've got quite an impressive title. Tell me what that means in the real world. Tell me what you do.
I oversee sponsorship and the Bayview experience, as well as strategic initiatives for Invest Ottawa.
Now, I understand Ottawa could be justifiably thought of as something as like a Silicon Valley North. Tell me something about the tech scene and the concentration in the nation's capital.
We have the highest concentration of tech talent in North America, and that's for the last 5 years, according to CBRE.
Now, we can't talk about Ottawa's tech scene without mentioning Area X.O, which is a 750 hectare or 850 acre private gated site with a concentration of technology companies. Tell us about the origin of Area X.O, including its name, and Invest Ottawa's connection.
Yeah, it was about 5 years ago, I guess, where the initial discussions about the site started. It was all about really trying to provide the critical mass here within the city border for some of those smart mobility companies and the development of innovation here within our city. We found that there needed to be a bit of a test ground for all these opportunities and for the companies that were trying to grow and scale. And we decided that the best opportunity really was for us to develop the site ourselves. So it was launched actually as Ottawa L5 when it talked about the different levels of autonomy according to the autonomous vehicle infrastructure and the connectivity that was required. And what we realized very quickly was that we were really all going to surpass those levels of autonomy very fast. So it was rebranded as Area X.O, really represents that crossover, representing industry, government, our private sector, and our post-secondary institutions all coming together to create this enormous opportunity for companies to test and validate their technology as they work towards public adoption and ideally commercialization.
I've visited many times, and I always genuinely love going to Area X.O. I usually see robots out and about or autonomous vehicles navigating these private roads. What's the advantage for companies in the tech and specifically the smart mobility sector to have access to a location like this?
So I talk about the site constantly as being really about cross-pollination. So there's an opportunity for government regulators to run pilot projects at the site. There's an opportunity for SMEs to be validating technology on their way to prototyping. There's an opportunity for post-secondary institutions to be developing research projects that are engaging students and really working on those government-private opportunities to come together and validate technology on the way to really becoming world leaders within certain fields like defense and security, connected and autonomous vehicles, drones and advanced robotics, innovation farming, more and more and more that are driving machine learning and AI and opportunities that really were just thoughts years ago that are really becoming something that is tangible and is supported in terms of the development and the opportunities that are created.
One of the highlights of the year is the annual GCXpo Technology Showcase. And I also believe you're the person in charge of the event, that's a lot on your shoulders. But tell us what the event is all about.
The event itself is a large demonstration day that has grown to be a tech showcase. It features 2 days of programming. And on the second day, there are demonstrations that run in 6 different zones across the site. We have a defense zone. We also then have a robotics zone and a drone zone. We have a smart mobility corridor, and then we have an innovation farming zone. We also have a large exhibit area where all different exhibits are there representing government, post-secondary, and the companies themselves to showcase information and opportunities to really validate questions that the general public might have. It's a day that runs from 8 until 4 p.m., and it has celebrated quite a bit of success in the past.
Tell us why displaying products and services at this event is important for Canadian technology companies.
It becomes tangible. So there's so many audiences that represent the GCXpo audience that some of these companies are dying to get in front of, whether they be government regulators, whether they be potential funding sources, whether they be other companies that have technology that potentially could become collaboration with their own technology and could get them further and evolve their opportunity. There's opportunity in the cross-pollination, again, as I mentioned before, of getting the critical mass of all these companies together to drive ideas and drive really the sense of what's to come and what is to be celebrated today.
Now, GCXpo is a massive event to organize. How much work goes on behind the scenes to plan this?
By the time the event takes place, we've really had over 50 individuals that have been part of the organizing and the development of the event itself. It also is important to acknowledge all of the different stakeholders that are involved. So, whether it be those government partners that are providing the core funding, the sponsors that are activating in really creative ways on site, the post-secondary institutions that are involved, the companies that are right now developing their unbelievable demonstrations that are going to wow all of the audience for the entire day. It really takes everybody working hand in hand to make this happen, and it has almost become a year-round effort to make it happen.
I can imagine it's a lot of work to put on. What kind of tangible results are seen for the companies, and maybe intangible as well, for the companies that participate?
The tangible results that are coming through are, new sources of funding, opportunities to talk to government regulators about opportunities they didn't even realize existed that are going to extend their innovations and build new opportunities. We have companies that have been named to the NATO Diana program as an example, which is a huge focus for this year from a defense standpoint. We have companies that talk about the cross-pollination and the fact that they have been able to develop new patents with collaborators that never would have happened before. So there's real opportunity there that is something to be celebrated and something that we champion right from the start, and that our demonstrators and participants tell us is coming to fruition through this event.
Awesome. Now, finally, if someone is interested in attending, when is the event and how can they register?
Yeah, so the best way for people to engage through an application to demonstrate or to register to be on site and a participant at GCXpo 2025 is to visit our website. You can visit areaxo.com/GCXpo, and there is easily followable information there about registering and receiving more information if interested.
Great. And anything else you'd like to add, Pat, other than that we're all hoping for the lovely weather we had last year?
Yeah, if you could start wishing, Scott, that would be appreciated, because we need everybody on the same wavelength there. But I really want to thank you, and I want to thank Indro Robotics for being really an anchor partner for so much of what we do at Area X.O, but especially at GCXpo. Having the Indro Robotics team work with us hand in hand on their activations, showcasing their robotics across the site is really one of the most popular things of the entire expo, and I'm sure this year is going to be exactly the same.
It is such an amazing event, and I'm really looking forward to attending again. Patrick Kenny, Senior Director, Stakeholder Experience and Strategic Engagement with Invest Ottawa, and a driving force behind GCXpo. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to seeing you in September.